Hello, traders. Man, what a day! It's confession time for me. Okay, so let's look at our reversal patterns. Um, Went up this morning. Let's do regular trading hours only here. Okay, so first prez was here. We went up. We made a new all time high, taking out the overnight high, and then we started reversing. The last down close candle before the run up would be considered our breaker. So this is the fair value gap underneath. This is the one we want to watch for. We want it to be respected. We pushed down pretty hard and then we came back up. And did we respect it? Let's take a peek and see. There it is. It would be orangutan orange. So you could use that breaker as your entry. One tick above or one tick below the high of this red candle would be the optimal entry for me. Let's see what kind of points you would have to have in order to hold that trade. To the top of that red candle, that was 4.25 points. I typically run a 25 point stop loss. That would have got me above the high of the day. And I do believe that's what I did. Okay, so you get in that trade. Pre-market high was here. We already took it. Pre-market low is our next fruit. And you can see we touched it to the tick and we went back up. I want to say I went ahead and took profit when we made the opening range low. And then I tried to get back in somewhere around here and aiming for this, but I think I got scared off. Okay. So ultimately, my first original take profit was down here at settlement, but we didn't make it down there until after MOC release, which was, it still pretty much stayed low. I mean, if you had your stop right here, this one trade a day concept, that's what I've been kind of toying around with. If your stop was right there, you can see you'd have been fine all day. You aim for this. You would have had to hold through that MOC announcement, which I do not recommend, but at least pre-market low, you get that, you're done. Or half the gap, you get that, you're done for the day. Just call it right there. That on, I think I had 3 micros on. Let's see what that would have been. Enter at the breaker or just a little bit below. That's 105 points. That's $600, 615, 630 dollars on 3 micros if you got it to that final tick there, which 50% of the gap probably would have been where my take profit was. Maybe we did down here, and then I think we got, this was like 50% of it, and then 25, and then pushed a little lower, and then finally we ripped lower and took out this 4-hour regular trading hour low. So let's look at that one. Market's still moving, but I'm done. I've had my butt handed to me. So when we push lower, we get the lowest point, and our breaker would be the last up close candle before the push down. Here's the final lowest point. So it's this candle. How did the market perform? Well, it kind of pushed down there and went up, went to this fair value gap, left liquidity, and then we came back down and touched it. Do you see that? That's pretty dead close to a to the tick touch of the breaker. So I'm long again, and I'm aiming for this high. And man, we did some dancing, but we finally made it to that high. Okay, so let's see how many points that is. 118 points. On 1 micro, that'll get you $240, let's just say. And I think I had 2 on. Okay, so there's the hypo. That's what needs to happen. That's what should have happened today. So here's my confession. Why am I sitting $332 in the hole? That's what I've been asking myself. I've been in a drawdown. So that's two trades. One here, one here. Two trades, aim for the most recent swing high. That's my trading plan. Look at this. I'm almost embarrassed to put this on. Look at this. Can you believe that? Let's look at this. My goal is 2 trades a day, 2 max. 1 if there's only one setup. Look at this. It's week 4 on this XFA. I'm qualified for a payout, but I can't take one because I just keep on losing. 4 losing days in a row. Look at the number of trades: 49, 84, 58, 70. Now, some of that is adding in as the trade is developing. And with micros, you can add in several. I don't add in more than 4 right now. That's still way over trading. So I'm getting my initial trade, and I did make money on that initial trade, and then I'm losing all that money in the chop. Some of my trades, like this one, was a really good day. I did 36 trades, so it worked in my favor that day. 86 trades. In every one of these cases, 1 or 2 trades a day makes me money. Every one of these cases. So why am I still clicking a million freaking times? See, I got in somewhere on this candle. Yeah, it looks like I got in here. Maybe when we crossed over that breaker, I don't know. Got in somewhere around here. It doesn't show you the exact spot you entered, but you can see I ended up adding 4 micros here for a push up. I think at that point I was just aiming for settlement, and I made money on that trade. I did enter again here. Where I got out, I don't know. It looks like I got out somewhere around here. But then I was thinking, well, we're going to push lower. Why? I don't know. But I ended up selling some short or buying some more in and just losing on these quick little pushes because these are big candles. It's MOC, and they're big candles. I was thinking we were going to the high of the day, but I would get in here and it would rip all the way back down 60, 70 points and stop me out. Sometimes $50, sometimes $100. And that's why I have this. Because I get caught up in this chop. I'm thinking, oh, we're going up. We start pushing to the high, and I think, oh, we're going to go higher. And I'll buy it, and it'll rip all the way back down low. Never buy at the top of a range. I say it, but I do it. And that's one of my big struggles. But just right here, there's multiple trades that should have never happened. Possibly entering here. Definitely entering there. That's the only places you're supposed to enter. Right now, we don't have a fair value gap. We have one right here. So you could enter there. But you would just have to take profit immediately because we're already at a settlement. So it's better to wait for this, even if you don't get it. Miss that day, miss that trade. But I'm just not trading discipline. And then you look up here. I took that trade. That was a good trade. And I took it to here, and I was thinking, oh, we're going to get gap fill. But look at all that. I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out. Why not just stay in? Put your stop right here and let that sucker play out. If you're wrong, you lose. Here, my stop loss was $100. $100. No, I had 3 on, so it was $150. Even if I lost that, I would lose $150. Which I could probably make back up taking this trade. Okay? But all of this over trading business, that's what's killing my P&L. Look at that. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry. But that's my confession. That's something that I struggle with. and I'm going to have y'all hold me accountable. I want to pull this up, and I want you to see profit. There's no way I would still have this account if I was trading minis, not over trading like that. So that the goal of this whole thing was not necessarily a payout. It was not to blow up my account. So I'm only trading micros. Sometimes I add in at inopportune times, and I get a pullback and end up getting stopped out, break even or close to it, or a loss. But my goal, instead of this saying 70, I mean, I might be able to add in. And so, whenever, like when you're trading micros and you put on one and then you add another one in, they consider that 2 trades. And then maybe you add one more in, that's 3 trades. And then when you sell them all, that's 6 trades. So ideally, I would like to enter, not add to it, take my profit wherever it is. That's what my goal is. And so I would say, like, for tomorrow, I want this number to be under 10, just for adding in purposes or whatever. Let's say I add in a couple and then I sell them. If you do it all at once, if you do 5 micros at once and 5 micros you out, that's 2 trades. So that's the way they calculate it. So I would like for it to be under 10 for sure. I don't want to see any more of this. But my goal is to take a trade here, let it play out. If I think we're going to aim down to settlement, then let it freaking aim to settlement. Which, in this environment we've been in, it was hard to hold a short. It is. It's hard for me to hold anything right now. And I need to just think about that confidence level there in my position. Because this was a beautiful reversal signal. And this one was too. I should not have been doing any trading in this chop, and I took 150 of them suckers. Not 150, but I took a lot of. I took way more than I should have. I won max. I mean, I was in a good spot. Look at all those I took in that, and most of them were buying at the high, closing it out when it got to the low, and just losing money one right after the other. Where I should have taken this trade and aimed for that high and been done for the day. That's my goal. I know if I do that, I will be very, very profitable. But for some reason, I get in here and I start trying to trade this range or that range. I watched a video on ICT and there's wicks. Let's get rid of these for a minute because that's just clogging up the whole screen. He did a little deal on the wicks. And so today, part of the deal I did was the very first minute of the day. Some people call that the opening range, this candle right here. So what I did was I put a fib on it and extended it out throughout this whole session. And I'm watching it. And I'm seeing how price is behaving with it and thinking, ooh, I could use that as a scalping tool. Because you can see right here, we went up and we took out that high, and then there's our breaker. And once we push down back into this 1 minute range there, we touched the high. We came down, pushed through the bottom, came back up 75%. Pushed down through the bottom, came back up 50%. Came back down almost to the 75%. I don't know that doesn't matter if it's high or low, it's just quadrants. And then finally we push down, we take out the low, and where do we go back to? Make sure I'm on the bottom of that candle. Look at that. We go right back to the center, right there. And then we fall out of bed. So I don't know how to use this information, but right now I'm using it to overtrade. There's something there. A scalper may be able to use that, but there's something there. There's a benefit in that information, the way it stair step down. Boom. We take the low right back to the center of that, and then adios paya. So, but I don't need any other reasons to overtrade. That's what I'm telling you. I saw this and I was like, ooh, yeah, that's a possibility. And I think I ended up taking a trade right here at the bottom of it, or maybe at the 25, because I was like, well, it's going down, 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 down. We go to 25, and then here we go. And, or maybe I was here, and then I said, well, once it's going up, it's going to run through the whole range. We're going back to the moon. And maybe I go long. I don't need any reasons to jump back into another trade because I will take it. And of course, we touched that and we fell out of bed. That was one of my losing trades right there. Because I was thinking, oh, we've gone through the bottom of it. We're going to go all the way to the top and try to scalp that. Bad idea. This is my system. That one and this one. That's my system. Nothing else should I be trading because I know this works. But here I am gambling with all this garbage and chewing up my P&L. I've had this thing up to $2,700. And look at it now. I'm surprised I haven't blown it the way I've been acting. 2644.48. That was my first week. That's pretty bad. But I still got a chip in a chair, and I'm going to one micro this sucker back to that number. And then I'm going to take me a payout. Don't know when it's going to happen, but if I can stick to my plan of taking 2 trades, one at the high reversal, one at the low reversal, which we haven't had this. We haven't had this in several days. We haven't had a market that went up, reversed, and then went down and reversed. We haven't had very many of those. We've had directional day. You try to take a reversal, you get smashed. This one finally did a reversal at the end of the day yesterday. This one did a reversal to the upside and then double tapped the lows, made a brand new low. I remember that one. I got stopped out and I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm not going to mess around in this crappy market. So frustration got me there, and that was what lost the day. But the majority of our days, we haven't seen a reversal pattern. This one, we never took out a low. Never took out a low. What's my deal? A regular trading hour, 4-hour low needs to be taken. These are all new lines. We haven't had a regular trading hour, 4-hour low taken in 5-6 days. I just put all these in because they're the new ones that we just created. But we've pretty much just been going up and up and up. This day we reversed right at the end of the day. So we haven't had multiple reversal patterns each day to work with. And that's probably why I've started doing all this, trying to figure out a scalp of some sort. My prediction was we would make a new high of the day, and we did just now, a new all-time high, and we just now did it. A log from right here, take profit there, you'd have had to live through a lot of chop, but you would have got that sucker. Whew! 2 trades. 2 trades. Let's see what that would have been. Enter at the breaker, high of the day. We just aim at the all-time high. 203 points, 1 micro, $406. With 1 micro, how much would my risk have been? Let's take a peek at that. If I put it below the low of the day, it would have been $120. Would I have survived? If I waited to that entry at a $25 stop loss, I definitely would have survived because it touched it to the tick. If you entered here, which is where I actually entered on that, I actually got stopped out, but I entered at 47. And see, that's 38, so it stopped me out. I entered right here, a tick above I did the breaker fair value gap where I normally enter, right there. And we were so volatile, I ended up getting stopped out. But usually in that volatile market, I'll put on a 50-point stop loss, which would have done it. But to get beneath the breaker, you had to put a 100-point stop loss. Still, it would have worked out, but you don't know that at the time. And so I did enter here like I was supposed to, but I got stopped. Re-entering here on this fair value gap would have worked out fine, but it's also a very large range. 60 points. So if you re-entered at the top of that sucker, you're 30 points back down to the center. And this one almost got it, but it would have got my 25 point. It dang sure did. Because I think I was in it again. And that's where I made some money and then I would lose it. It got down to 22 half. I think I was watching it go down there and I was like, oh, no way, it's going to get me. And killed my trade. But one of these, I had an entry. I was going to re-enter there, and it never did quite make it. It would come down and get a point. I think that one might have done it. No, it wouldn't quite get to 47. Yeah, wow. MOC doing work. Okay, so there's your confession. I've said many, many times I am not. This isn't a channel where you just come and you watch somebody that knows what they're doing and they can just give you the best advice in the world. It's always been meant to be. I'm learning this, and I am learning it. I'm doing very, very well. If you go back even 6 months ago, I'm blowing up combines one right after the other. But discovering this and then learning to spot it in real time is what made it where I went from blowing up combines to getting funded. And now I'm going through the process of, well, how much leverage can I put on? And now I'm going, and also, how can I conquer this? I want to click the mouse button 100 times a day business, because that's just a discipline thing. And once all of those pieces of the puzzle are in place, I mean, I've gone from getting funded now 18 times and blowing them all up within a week or two. So this one, I've reduced my size. I'm not making as much money. Some days I've made really good money on just a couple of micros. You saw that. And I've been in a drawdown because I've been looking at all this stuff, the wicks, and trying all these different techniques and strategy hopping, I would say, and over trading. And so now the final piece of the puzzle is to finally get myself in a frame of mind to say, no, you're going to take this trade, you're going to put your stop there, and you're going to put your take profit at a recent swing low or settlement if you think it's going there. It won't always go to settlement every day, but today it did. And I had a feeling it would, but just pre-market low would have been fine. Pre-market low would have netted me $400 or $500 there. And this one, the most recent swing high, would have netted me $300 or $400 there. I'll end with an $800 day, 2 trades. The more trades you take, the lower your probability of winning. I know that logically, but my emotional control is what over trading ends up being. You see a trade and you're like, ooh, like right now, I could say, ooh, I could take a short here. It's going all the way back to settlement. And I could jump in there and try, and then it would go straight back up 50, 60 points to stop me out. That's the emotional thing. This, good trade. That, good trade. Good time of day, good time of day, not a good time of day. So I hope you're learning along with me. I hope you're seeing some success. If you are seeing some success, please let me know in the comments. I will talk to y'all next time.